The Souls series has some pretty, what I would think to be experimental mechanics. These are mechanics that you may have seen once or twice, but may not know what they are or what their purpose is. I find these particular mechanics interesting because they do serve a purpose, although some of them are very niche, well, except for one particular one in Dark Souls 2, which I think we all know which one that is. Yeah, we'll get to that. Most of these experimental type mechanics are in the older games like Dark Souls 1 and 2 and Demon Souls. The latest titles don't really have these kind of weird niche things in them. Demon Souls is divided into 5 different chapters, so to speak, and within each of those chapters you have something that is called a world tendency. Your world tendency is specific to that one archstone, so your actions in, say, the first chapter of the game won't affect the world tendency of the third chapter of the game. World tendency has 7 stages. There's neutral white and neutral black, white and black, and pure white and pure black. Black obviously being the evil side essentially, and white being the good side. While in the black tendency, enemies will be harder with more health, deal more damage, and drop more souls. The opposite is true for white tendency. Enemies will have less health, drop less souls, and deal less damage. Killing NPCs and dying in body form will shift your world towards black tendency, whereas killing bosses and defeating black phantom invaders in PvP will shift your world towards white. Each Archstone region has a specific NPC tied to it, and if you go far enough into the black tendency, specifically to pure black, that NPC will instead be a black phantom and will try to kill you. So that's cool. If you have either pure white or pure black world tendency, you'll actually unlock new events in that Archstone. The world events include NPC quest lines and items that are unique to those that you couldn't get otherwise, as well as entire new sections of the map opening up. Demon Souls also has a very similar mechanic called character tendency. Shifting your character tendency towards white or black works kind of the same way as world tendency, but not really. To shift it towards white, you could kill black phantom invaders, or as a blue phantom in somebody else's world, you could kill their black phantom invader. And to shift it towards black, you could either invade people as a black phantom and kill the host, or you can just, be a fucking psychopath, I guess, and just murder all the NPCs. White character tendency will give you certain multipliers, like boosts, I guess. While in soul form, which is the form after you, die and lose half your fucking health. Whereas being in black tendency will increase your damage multipliers and all that kind of shit as a black phantom invader. So that's kind of cool if you like PvP, I guess. Just be a fucking psycho. There's also 3 weapons in the game that gain attack boosts specifically based off of your character tendency. Hey yo, I was about to start recording this, but on the wiki, guest 2846145 just said feet. Like that, he just said feet for no reason. Anyway, Vagrants are a very rare enemy in the game that I guarantee 95% of us have never seen. Psych, make that shit 94.9 because I've seen 3 of them in the last few days, which is pretty fucking insane probably. They only spawn as a result of another player losing their bloodstain or dropping specific items on the ground and abandoning them. If a player dies with 5 or more humanity on them and fails to recover that bloodstain, there is a chance, it's not guaranteed, there's a chance that a vagrant will travel to somebody else's world. Vagrants come in 2 different forms, good and evil. The good form just kind of looks like an egg with crab legs and will flee and vanish if not killed by you. Sort of like a crystal lizard. The evil ones look the same, but they just have a big ass claw and will attack you instead of running away. Which I think those are the only ones I've seen, are the evil ones. They've all tried to kill me. Good Vagrants actually have an initial phase known as drift items, where an item bag will appear exactly where the original item was left, except within it will be a significantly downgraded item. The drift item will continue to be sent out to other worlds, and if it isn't picked up, after a while it will become a good vagrant. So that's the only way you get good ones, I guess, is if people just don't pick up random items sitting on the ground, which is very unlikely. As a good vagrant, the item that it holds is more valuable than the drift item, and if it manages to escape and travel to other players' worlds enough times, it'll become a Black Phantom good vagrant, which can drop many things such as Demon Titanite or Red Titanite chunks and shit like that. Pretty good shit. They only spawn in specific locations within areas, so they don't just spawn wherever the fuck they want. However, it is a pretty decent amount, so I'm not going to show it all on screen because it is a lot. Just go to the wiki. Just go look at the wiki, I guess. This is a term specifically belonging to the Gravelord Servants Covenant. In order to join this covenant, you need to progress in the catacombs until you reach this room. With an Eye of Death in your inventory, you can climb into this coffin and be transported to Gravelord. Obviously, he needs to be alive for you to still join this covenant, so if he's, fucking dead, there's no reason for you to climb into the coffin because it just takes you to the bonfire anyway, so yeah, he needs to be alive. This covenant is a PvP-oriented one. Whenever the servant uses an Eye of Death, they curse 3 random players' worlds, spawning Black Phantom enemies within that world, as well as placing the summon sign on the ground that just kind of looks like a grindcore band logo. Invading this player by using their summon sign and successfully killing them will uncurse the affected player's worlds and remove the Black Phantoms. I don't remember seeing these summon signs at all back in the day, but when I started playing the remaster recently, as soon as I set foot into the Undead Burg, there was legit like 6 of them on the fucking ground. It was insane. Miracle Resonance or Miracle Synergy is a mechanic that allows a specific set of miracles to gain a boost whenever you stand near a little white circle on the ground. You'll know if that miracle is affected by it if you see a white circle over its icon at the bottom left. And if 3 or more of them spawn nearby each other, there's something called double synergy, where it's slightly more boosted than, obviously just regular synergy. It's actually double. That's why it's called double. It's exactly 2 times more powerful. Holy shit. Here's a list of which miracles are boosted by the resonance. It's mostly just every healing spell and then every force spell. Alternatively, you can just equip the Ring of the Sun Princess, and it's essentially a portable miracle synergy. It boosts it the same percentage as a single synergy boost. Oh yeah, the sign only lasts for about 30 seconds. So, yeah. Good luck! And if you wear the ring and stand next to a miracle synergy sign thing, it'll be a double boost. You won't need the 3 signs next to each other anymore. Only 4 miracles are actually capable of creating these resonance circles. And of the 4 miracles, none of them are really that commonly used, which is probably why this thing is pretty rare. Wrath of the Gods is really only used in high-level PvP. So you'd probably have a pretty good chance of finding a resonance circle in the Ulseal Township bonfire, because that's a pretty common high-level PvP spot. Bountiful Sunlight and Soothing Sunlight, I honestly don't know if anyone even uses those. And Great Heal is a pretty entry-level healing spell for Faith builds, so you probably only see someone using those up until like Anor Londo. During my playthrough of Dark Souls Remastered, I only saw this one single resonance circle, and I didn't even know it was a resonance circle, because I was looking for the old-ass texture of like the white circle or whatever. And I guess it being in this location makes sense, because this is a pretty popular soul farming spot, and I guarantee the person that created this one probably used Wrath of the Gods, because it is literally the only spot where this spell would be useful in PvE. This feature is probably the biggest smooth brain move they've ever done, and I don't understand why they thought it would be a good idea. This is like probably the most universally hated mechanic in the entire series. I'm willing to bet that. because it's that dumb. And we're talking about soul memory, baby. That's right. It's from Dark Souls 2. The worst mechanic in the entire series is from the game that everyone considers to be the worst in the entire series. Who would have thunk? Soul memory is a cumulative total of souls you have acquired on your character. It's a part of a formula for multiplayer play, both for co-op and PvP. In order to play with your friends, you would need to be within the same soul memory range, which on a Dark Souls game where dying an ass load and re-clearing the enemies multiple times is pretty common, you can see why this would be an issue for co-op. Let's say your friend needs help with a boss, and he's worse than you at the game, so his soul memory is higher than yours. Even though you're at the same point in the game, his could be out of range of you because he's died more times than you, re-cleared the areas more times than you to get back to the boss, you know, to wait for your fucking summon sign. So now you have to go farm souls up to a specific range in order for him to be able to summon you. You can see how this could be very annoying. I don't know, like, why didn't they just scale I don't know, it's so weird. Now don't get me wrong, Dark Souls 1 had a similar mechanic, kind of, where instead of soul memory, it was your soul level. So you can summon somebody within 1 to 11 soul levels of you in either direction. Less than you, more than you, doesn't matter. And you can be summoned by people that are 1 to 12 in the range of you. So it's kind of the same thing, but it's less annoying because it's level. It's not the total amount of souls you've acquired. That's a little more manageable when it's the level rather than just the straight amount of souls. All right, whatever. I'm done yapping about soul memory. I could be here all fucking day shitting on it. In Dark Souls 2, if you kill a friendly NPC, instead of just being shit out of luck, a gravestone will spawn at their location, which you can interact with to talk to the ghost of said NPC and still use their services. You still have to pay. You have to pay money actually to summon their ghost, but you can still summon them. Yeah, that's about the extent for that one, honestly. It's not really complicated. That's literally all it is NPC dies, you can just pay money to talk to their ghost. That's it. It's not complicated. That's all it is. So, I mean, I guess I'll just leave it here. Bye.